It's 1,000 times longer than any monument ever built. Started before the birth of Christ, it was still being built when Columbus sailed to America, and millions died in its making. What unspeakable fears drove the Chinese to build the Great Wall, a wall they called the longest cemetery in the world. This is the wall that everybody knows about, where American presidents pose and millions of tourists visit every year. But few of those visitors realize that the floor they are rapidly wearing away and the walls they carved their initials on is younger than they are, rebuilt only a few decades ago. But there is a lost wall, rarely visited and seldom filmed, that lies just over the horizon. This is the real Great Wall of China. It starts on the shores of the Yellow Sea and stretches through the mountains north of Beijing and into the heartland of North China. It has great fortified castles and watchtowers at crucial mountain passes where enemy armies could easily breach the defenses. It runs down to the shoreline of great rivers. Then, for thousands of miles, it stretches through uninhabited deserts, across unscalable mountains. At first, it is built of stone, but as it reaches the desert, it reverses into mud brick. And finally, the Great Wall ends here, at this lonely watchtower, overlooking the White River. It's the greatest feat of engineering in the world, running a staggering total of more than 4,000 miles from start to finish. This is the 15th dawn Cheng Daling has photographed in this month alone. But Cheng is not only a photographer. He is a man who has dedicated his life to discovering everything he can about the Great Wall of China. For years, he searched the Chinese countryside for evidence of long-forgotten and abandoned walls. Often, the only clue walking stick to fend off snakes and rabid dogs, he has walked many thousands of miles. But he has had many successes. After struggling up this forested mountainside, he discovered a long-lost wall. No one had ever noticed it before, but once it was part of an ancient Great Wall, though much earlier and in a completely different location from the wall everyone knows. And the more scientists and archaeologists probe, the more mysterious it all becomes. In a lifetime of searching, Cheng has discovered thousands of miles of forgotten walls. In fact, if you add up all the walls that we now know about, it comes to a staggering total of 35,000 miles, almost enough to stretch around the planet twice. But why build so many walls at such an enormous cost? What were the Chinese afraid of? It was said you could smell them coming, even before you heard the thunder of their hooves. Then they were on you, slaughtering, raping, pillaging, and burning. Behind them, they left a trail of smoking cities and bleached bones. They were the nomadic hordes of the northern plains, the Huns, Mongols, Manchus, all at war with the settled life of the Chinese. The Chinese were terrified by the nomads and detested their harsh way of life. A famous poem said, "They have no fields or pastures, only wastes where white bones lie among yellow sands." Nomads lived solely off their livestock. Their animals provided every basic need: food, milk, meat, hides for clothes, and the yurt, the nomadic tent. Animal dung provided fuel. In this uncompromising landscape, it was the only way to fuel a fire. The harsh climate kept the nomads always on the move, looking for pasture suitable for their flocks. When disease and freezing weather decimated their animals, the nomadic hordes raided the Chinese when they refused to trade with them. China had everything the nomads didn't have: rice, silk, writing, and a very elaborate civilization. The Great Wall was a barrier between the civilized world of the Chinese and barbarians. Throughout their long history, the Chinese have been farmers. If you are committed to your land, you stay put and accumulate possessions. Land, livestock, and homes that you fill with furniture and goods. It's a way of life constantly threatened by nomadic raids. Building a wall surrounding a country the size of China needed a man of prodigious ego and power. A man so powerful that China is named after him. Emperor Qin, the first emperor of China. He began 2 centuries before the birth of Christ, with a wall stretching more than 4,000 miles from Lintao in modern central China, across deserts, over mountains and plateaux, all the way to the Korean border.